This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Five. Did you guys see that the Browns added 2 female scouts? It's actually pretty cool. Again, our world, right? You're seeing more women involved in football. Remember what I keep telling you. Don't focus on these negative a-holes that are out there. They are the minority. We, the people that accept everybody, the people that don't look at color and sex and sexual orientation and all that kind of stuff, we are the majority. Don't ever get that wrong, okay? The idiots with the Confederate flags, they're the minorities, okay? The people using the N-word, they are the minorities, all right? The people that are abusing women, they are the minorities. They're just loud. They're obnoxious. We are the force. And you're seeing it right now. Because finally we've come together. And, you know, you look at what's going on with the Browns, and I love the fact that they've made their staff a little more diverse, giving everybody an opportunity. Mary Kay Cabot from the Cleveland Plain Dealer reports that they've hired Riley Hecklesinki as a full-time scouting assistant in the research department and Kathleen Wood as a scouting fellow for the 2020 season. Hecklesinki is a former softball player at Indiana State and has previously interned for the Senior Bowl and in recruiting for the University of Kansas. Wood, a former private investigator, worked for the Senior Bowl last season. She also worked as a scouting fellow and intern for the Bills and Eagles. Okay? The Browns, by the way, hired Callie Brownson as coach. Stefanski's chief of staff, general manager. Andrew Berry's one of the league's 2 minority GMs. So the Browns with a diverse group. And I love this. Now, the one thing I will say, because I sensed it and I experienced it and I lived it with Chris Grier. You know that you have those group of people, right, that they think Chris Grier doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He was in Miami here for the last 16, 18 years, whatever, and Miami has sucked. So they think that he's part of their problem, right? Meanwhile, I try to explain and bring some common sense to all of this, and I try to explain to people that think why they kept Chris Grier around from one regime to another. All his reports are on there. They're on a hard drive. If he's giving crappy reports and he's suggesting bad players, they probably would have fired him already a long time ago. Not a year ago, not 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But they kept him around because obviously his reports must have been really thorough and really good. Problem is he's black. He's the minority. They weren't listening to him. Now he's the voice. Now you got to listen to him. But he already had the stigma of Cam Cameron. He already had the stigma of Tony Sperano and Joe Philbin and everything else. And he's being blamed for the things that Ireland has done in the past when it was Ireland. He's blamed for the stuff that Tannenbaum's doing, and it was Tannenbaum, right? So that's what I'm trying to explain to people. And so you look at what's going on with the Browns. I love that they hire diversity and they're giving other people an opportunity at this because they might be really good at it. But it's also imperative that the Browns have success. Because if the Browns only win 2 or 3 games or 4 games, then those women, along with everybody else, and maybe they didn't even listen to the women, just like Chris Grier. Maybe they didn't take their advice. But the optics will be that it doesn't matter who's there. From Barry to Stefanski and everybody in between, you all suck. You're not going to change us. Get rid of everybody. And that's just not right. Everybody's been in different businesses. You've been employees all over the place. All of you out there, most of you out there have been at a place where you knew the owner was a moron, but there were other people in the business that knew what the hell they were doing. And the business failed. But it had nothing to do with a couple of the good employees. It had to do with the people making the decisions that they suck. So when the business fails and everybody has to leave, do we blame everybody? Of course not. Because you've been in businesses that have either not succeeded or they failed completely, and some of you were doing the right things. And you knew about some of the managers were good. Unfortunately, the owner didn't know what the hell he was doing. Or she didn't know what he was doing, or whatever. Right? Same thing here. And so I thought about that with the women. It reminded me of Chris Greer. That if Cleveland is a crap show once again this year, those poor women may end up falling by the wayside because of the disaster that the team is, and it had nothing to do with them. Just like every time a new general manager took over, they must have looked at Chris Greer's reports and said, well, how come they didn't listen to this guy? And then they didn't listen to him either. Because obviously if you keep them around, there's a reason. You usually keep the good employees. And the Browns, it's interesting. Good story. I just wish them the best, and hopefully they're able to have some success.